Welcome to Play-to-Play report for Assassin's Creed. Playing this game with Overhaul mod, and the mod improves the textures and graphics in the game itself. It also changes the UI a bit in the actual gameplay. Now, when it comes to graphics, you can go up to 1080p, no problem, and there's other resolutions also available, so therefore you can really play this game right now on the modern system, no problems. So I'm just gonna go jump into the game, and well, there's few things I'm gonna mention about the mod. Number one is that I will be including the location links to the mod and any supporting programs in the description, as well as how to install it, because it's not that simple. You will have to do a bit of changes there, such as you have to rename the executables files and so on. So in order to skip that, I'll just quickly put that on the description rather than explain right now. So first thing first though, I would like to point out one of the biggest problems I always had with this game is that how long it takes to enter and exit the game. So we almost entered the game, so I need to click here and I will load into the game, but what I consider to be actually the game. So to do that, you see what I had to do, right? Pressing. So to exit again, you exit from that game itself. You'll be jumping into this section. Then you have to click here. This will close. Have to wait for this guy to get up because there's two storylines. So there's the Crusader period storyline that happens during the Third Crusade, and there's a current events type of storyline, which is this one. Now we have to say quit the game. Now, if you think that you're leaving the game right now, straight to the desktop, no, that's not happening. Now we have to wait for another loading screen to happen. The game will load into the splash screen, which we can't exit yet from. We have to press here, do that, and finally here's the exit button. To enter the game, you have to go splash screen, select the profile, load into this the current game storyline, that one first. Right, and once we're in here, you have to click another thing. So I'm gonna click here. I finished the game, so we have to replay sections of it. I cannot really jump into certain points either. It's annoying.
Use throwing knives.
So and there we're gonna have another loading area before we get into the actual game.
Come in, Altair.
Yeah, there's a bit of a portion that we're gonna talk about, but I'm just gonna talk over this overall because that's not really important here right now as such. And so I'm gonna mention things about the mod. So the mod improves textures. So if you don't have a mod, your normal original textures will be pretty flat. Mod makes them better looking. It also improves the costumes of the people, and it also improves your look. So
would you have me kill them both then? End their war before it begins in earnest?
No. Well, I can't really look at his face. Overall, the robes and everything around you, the characters, I improved to such extent that they match better and closer to the further games in the series of Assassin's Creed. So, all that is good. There are issues with the mod, such as you might have certain crashes. Right, I had a few crashes when the game just crashed. So I will. And as you can see, entering the game is not that easy, and when the game crashes, it reverts back to save point, which is not maybe where you left off the game.
What are their crimes?
You might have to repeat the whole steps all over again, because that's how it is. A bit annoying, right?
You learn the secrets of their sins.
You also have a situation that has certain slowdowns appear. I got that all the crashes and the slowdowns are the result of the mod, because that's what I see people talk about in the comments of the mod and such.
Return to me as each
Finally, I also had problems
getting
to certain locations in the game. I only had one, actually. It was a tower. I couldn't get to climb onto it, and I had problems there.
Take care.
Eventually, I had to just leave the game, enter the game without the mod, and I climbed in, no problem.
They'll be more suspicious
than
they've been in the
past. The thing that you have to kind of worry about the mod. Also, mod installs only works with the DirectX 9 version of the game, not DirectX 10. So, if you're getting the mod, you have to keep in mind that this is what's gonna happen. You're gonna be losing out on some DirectX 10 basically improvements, and you might have this kind of crashes, and various might not be accessible to us easily. But I not really find that mod that really badly annoying instead that you want to uninstall it. So here we are. This is the Masyaf, one of the 4 locations, I would say the 4 main locations in the game. Here you'll be coming back after each mission, get new abilities and weapons. Let's get out here. Now we're gonna have a bit of another thing that I can skip, and this is this section because each time you come back, you get new weapons and abilities, and there's gonna be this kind of
the blade.
invitation to into the tutorial segment, and we're gonna skip that, of course. Now, again, like in everything in the game, if you think that it's going to be easy to get out of the tutorial section, no, it's not. See, like there are click escape, it's supposed to be able to get out of the tutorial section. Look at that, I'm already outside that tutorial. Oh, no, here it is. Here it is, I have to choose which, I can choose which things I want to review, right? Doesn't matter. I'm not going to review any of that stuff. And then I say exit tutorial, and the game says, yeah, do you really want to? Yes,
you must be busy. I understand.
You know, why would I want them? So, besides this Messy application, we also have other ones. I can fast travel to them. There's Damascus, Acre, and Jerusalem as the main cities in this game that we'll be traveling to. And there's also something called Kingdom. Kingdom is actually area between these 4 locations that you can visit. There's no point to visiting Kingdom. You will have to do it at fun in the beginning because you don't have fast travel available to the actual cities. But once you do have fast travel available, there's no point of visiting Kingdom. There are some collectibles there which have no impact on the game itself, so what's the point? I consider that section to be a waste of time and resources that the game put in. So let's jump into the Jerusalem because, well, I think it's more or less iconic Crusader period of the city. We're gonna jump into the assassin's office into Jerusalem
to gain the advantage
so that
in
we'll be
combat.
straight inside the city itself, rather than outside of it. Here we are. So, I think one thing that I want to address immediately is the historical accuracy of the game. So you see here we have cities like I mentioned, Acre, Jerusalem, and Damascus. So Damascus would be more of a Islamic city. Be shown with all that kind of architecture, while Acre will be shown with European architecture in it. At the same time, Jerusalem is supposed to be a melange of everything. Supposed to be a mix of religions, of architectural styles between European and Islamic. Now, would that have been true? Not sure. I don't think so, because especially even with Acre, because Acre, it would have been more Near Eastern looking than anything than European in its architecture. Here, there's actually, by the way, is an assassin symbol on the roof of the building. That's how you can identify assassin's office, unless, of course, you don't unless you don't have it on the minimap right there. But you need to run off a bit to show it on the minimap. Here it is. So cities are also don't consider them to be recreated perfectly. The developers pretty much openly said that that's not what they're going. Right? The developers try to create cities that will be interesting to play in. I'm just gonna murder this guy right now. This is a classic style of assassination you're gonna be doing. There you go, I just decided to show that, and the body fell down, so now everybody's alerted to that. So the cities are not historically gonna be accurate. Like they're gonna look, you know, medieval in a way, but at the same time, don't expect the street layout or anything to be accurate. However, they will have all the markings of a classical. Not a classical, but medieval city of that period. So Jerusalem will have that, you know, right there. We have that the famous mosque, the Dome of the Rock mosque. I mean, just drew blank for a second. Right there, it's not exactly on the rock, right? It's not exactly the same way as you expect in Jerusalem. Damascus has that. It has a. Oh, I pressed something incorrectly. So. Jerusalem, Damascus has its own famous mosque in such and such, and so you do have that kind of things included that make the game seem pretty close and authentic enough for experience. But it's like I said, it's not exactly it. Also, events in the game will be told to you, and you will be like, okay, well, we'll be able to recognize them from the Crusader history. Now I'm climbing one of the towers, and I'll explain about towers later. But you also will notice that the events are not exactly aligned, or the people not exactly aligned to what standard history is, and the game will explain that also using that storyline approaches. The current day storyline will explain why experiencing events not the same way as let's say as it's actually told in historical text, right? So here we are. One of the things that you will do quite often in this game is climb towers. Once you climb a tower, you press a button. I can't press it right now because, well, it will happen. But usually when you do so, it will be something called synchronize, and what will happen is that the camera will pan around the city, and the mini-map will clear out certain fog here of the map, and will also provide you with different icons telling you, hey, by the way, you have different things available, such missions and which you need. These are submissions. There are different types of submissions. One like that, like here they have informer, escort challenge. We have pickpocketing missions. So you just can eavesdrop on somebody. You can intimidate. You can assassinate. This is the type of different missions you're gonna get. Completing these missions is what you need in order to get information. So if I click here, I see there's something called memory log. Each one time you complete the mission, it will populate one of these things, and once you go through them, they will give you details such as, well, this information will tell you about your target's location, or location of the guards around the target, or how to access it to get access to the target, and so on. And that information is very helpful. And some information would be also kind of will grant you a type of synergy in terms of this can be kind of synergy in terms of information, so you can use them all together. But there's also gonna be something that sometimes information that you can use, saying that you can use either this method or that method to approach your target. The targets is the final mission, of course, that you want to complete. And I just did a classic jump of this series here. This isn't the game, so let's drop that. The game is a bit annoying sometimes because the character will perform actions you want. Perform such as you might want the character to jump, they climb on, or we want my character to run by, or do something else, and they all might try to do something else. So there will be certain annoyings like that. Another thing you might be doing a lot is I decided to just do this, but let's see if I can do something else. So there's a collectible, one of the collectibles that you can gather inside the cities, and they don't do the gameplay, so there's no point. Okay, the other thing that you might be doing is fighting. Right? Fighting individual guards is not much of a problem. There you go. I pull them off. Fighting more than one is sometimes might be difficult, but it's not that. So one of the things that you can take advantage of this is what's called vigilantes. This happens when you actually help some citizen in need who's being harassed by the guards, and after you do so, these guys will appear, and what they'll do is they'll block the guards from attacking you, or they'll kind of pull on them, they stop them from chasing you, and so on. Let's see if I can find a guard and show you how it happens. Here, right there's a guard, so we're just gonna run into the guard. The guard will get upset and will run after me, and now we'll just run through here. See the kid coming into position, and now we're gonna have... Oh, there's actually quite a few guards, so now that's a benefit of them because they're holding the back, and it makes it easier for me to fight. Of course, nothing's stopping me. The game's not stopping me from purging my own helpers, right? Now, if you notice, the guards have different armor on them. The reason behind that is to kind of show that they have different rank or different different rank will mean that the guards, well, I would say have slightly different fighting capabilities. The more higher rankings one, the more armor the guards, they'll be better at fighting you. In the end, though, by the end of the game, you are pretty much unstoppable. I stopped trying to escape the guard, and quite often we'll just get annoyed by the fact that I cannot do it. Seems to be everywhere they are, and I'm like, okay, fine, I'll just fight you all, and no problem. So that's kind of a, it's a bit of a disappointing that game that relies on, seems to be, as idea is supposed to be doing everything stealthy. Here is a section of a city that's currently closed off because this mission does not require it to take closed off. Eventually, every single city will be available to every street there. It's a bit disappointing that, like I mentioned, that the section of the game, that seems to be emphasized stealth, because most of the missions here will emphasize some kind of stealth. will actually be like, oh, you know, we'll end up in a pretty much a type of brawler approach. Especially some of the final missions, like will have that too. Like your final mark assassinations might not be just much of assassination as a little all-out brawl with a target and his guards, right? So that's I would say that this is mostly the typical gameplay you're gonna be doing. I found that you're gonna be pretty much climbing around here, running around on the rooftops. That's the easiest way to get around, and fighting guards and performing different missions, which quite often is different forms of assassination. Or just some information gathering once. So now I mentioned that there's two stories, right? So there's this story, the Crusader period, the ended the current day one. Current day one is what really frustrated me for a while. The story there is well, it's very slow. Only at the very end do you actually be like, oh, now it actually makes it interesting, but that's a bit too late, right? That you actually learn about, because for the rest of the time it's like, okay, you know, I want to come back and do the more interesting part, which is this Crusader period. There you go, you can see a synagogue, Jerusalem. Okay, so so to me that was okay. Why is that story? And in the end, I actually would say that the current day storyline there that they included, if you remove it from the game, you're not losing anything. All the explanations it offers, kind of supposed to help build on the world that you're living in. It could have been done here as well. I don't see much of a problem. All right. So, what else? What else I would say? Well, let's talk about this storyline, right? The main storyline that I consider. So this one, well, it was interesting at first. At first, we had something happening here, and I thought, well, I fell and damaged myself. So at first, it was interesting because you had some things going on. I just won't get in a fight. I just want to do that. There's no way out. We're gonna use a different weapon. Right there, we have also the combination fighting. I'm doing this specifically not often. So, the actual storyline this section, I got scared of everybody fighting. We have a situation where at first I felt like, oh, not sure we did any deep story. Then I'm like, oh, looks like in the middle of a section there is a deep story. And then it's like, okay. And then of course there's the idea is that, well, what's a proper approach to life and how to live life and that so on, how people should be ruled over, and how all that was gathered in the middle of it, kind of. It seemed like there, but I'm like, oh, this guy's gonna run away because he's scared of me. Proper choice. So, and I thought, okay, that's interesting. Now we're gonna have a kind of a dilemma between these two different approaches of life, right? One.
All right, where are you?
The one between we have what's called the assassins here, and the one that your main opponents are Templars. But in the end of the game, it's kind of resolved into a situation where one approach is ultimately seems to be good, and the other one is supposed to be simply evil. So that there's no that quandary there. So in the end, I would say because of that and because of the issues that that I mentioned, the presence of that kingdom, the boringness of the first the current day storyline, how long it takes to enter and exit the game, damn it. All that makes this game just good. So I can't really put any further up. Is this game cool? Well, you actually get to experience life as a type of a Near Eastern medieval ninja, right? It's kind of cool. And we have a group that's highlighted, that's not very much highlighted. Usually the assassins here. It's also very interesting. Also very very cool thing to do. And as you saw, the combat and fencing, there's a combos and such involved. It's kind of neat in a way. And I was like, okay, this must be a very cool game that way, right? Well, not really. Here's the problems. Well, number one is that, and it comes to do with the fencing section. So yeah, great, you created interesting fencing with the combinations and such, right? Which is true. All the fencing manuals have combinations, whereas the idea is that, well, if your opponent does this in response to your attack or defense, you have this and this such options to do. Great, but you can't get the actual fencing 100% right. You got the idea that you got the costumes, the medieval weaponry close enough, but you didn't get the fencing right. So let's say when you see the guy attacking, he's not really extending his hand when he does that. Why would you not extend your hand all the way forward in front of you to attack the enemy as far as possible from you, right? At the range. Also, his foot lands before his sword strike does, which takes out most of the phantom out of the sword strike, which is incorrect way to do it. Finally, the combinations are. The one that you actually saw was the combat actually much better than what I usually experience, which is mostly the guy will do some punches or maybe a kick or so in the actual fighting, which will not really take out the opponent but just knock them away, which is very useless in the end because that opponent in the game will come back and get back into the fight. So you didn't really do anything. So to me it was like, okay, well, there are more combinations, so you can what's it called, place in the medieval manuscripts, the fencing ones, that have such things as disarming the opponent, that have breaking of limbs, so on and so on, right? Things that will actually take out the opponent out of the fight. Why didn't you include all those stuff things? Right? And you just saw the guy use a sword, and then we also have another weapon here, right? I'm just gonna extend the throwing knife so that he'll pull this weapon here. This is the other weapon. He has two weapons and two hands. Why is the guy not using them both at the same time? Why is there no such ability? Medieval manuscripts again have the sword and dagger section in them. So you have what looks like a dagger pretty much. Why he's not using that as in a sword and dagger fashion? I don't know. So to me it was like, okay, great, you tried getting some things right, and really did not do them that well. And Ubisoft Montreal, the developer of this game, has no excuse. It's not like there is no historical fencing associations in Montreal or Quebec. There are. They could have easily asked those people for comment, to have them show the manuscript, show the stuff, and hey, they would have even done the motion capture for you so that you got the actual how you're supposed to handle the sword right. You would have came in with all your own gear, with your own weapons, and would have done it for you. So why didn't you do it? So instead of this being a very cool game, I would say it's just a cool game. They tried. It's a cool, good game. Well, thank you for watching and for listening. If you like this video, please like. If you didn't like it, don't like, and subscribe.